Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
I was balancing 2 large pizza boxes and a 6-pack of craft beer when I pushed open the door to Emily's condo with my elbow. It was a Friday night in early November, and we'd planned a low-key evening. Just the two of us, a new horror movie streaming, and leftovers from the Italian place she loved downtown. We'd been together 4 years, ever since we matched on an app during the tail end of the pandemic. I was 35, she was 32. I worked in software project management. She was a marketing director for a mid-sized fashion brand. We had separate places still, but I'd been spending more nights at hers than mine for the past year. I even had a shelf in her bathroom and a corner of her closet. I was thinking about ring shopping. Nothing flashy, just something classic that suited her. I'd already asked her best friend for subtle advice on cut and size. The condo was on the 3rd floor of a newer building in the Arts District. You step out of the elevator, turn left, and her door is at the end of the hall. I could hear voices as I approached. Emily's laugh, then her mom's voice filtering through the cracked door. She'd mentioned her mom was coming over for a quick glass of wine before heading to a book club thing. I paused outside, not wanting to interrupt, but the hallway carpet muffled everything, so I shifted the boxes and nudged the door open quietly. Her mom, Diane, was saying, "Sweetheart, for years is a long time. Don't you think it's time to nudge him a little?" Emily sighed the way she did when she was tired. "Mom, please, we've talked about this. I'm only saying, he's reliable, he has a good job, he's kind to you. Most women would be thrilled." There was a pause, and I heard the clink of wine glasses. "He's all those things," Emily said, her voice softer now. "But I'm not sure I'm ready to lock it in forever. What if there's someone who excites me more? Someone who really lights that spark? Alex is comfortable, safe. I love him, but sometimes I wonder if I'm settling because it's easy." My stomach dropped. The pizza boxes suddenly felt scalding against my forearms. Diane made a disapproving sound. "That's not fair to him, honey. You can't keep someone on the hook while you wait for fireworks that might never come." "I'm not keeping him on the hook. I need to be sure. Marriage is permanent. I don't want to wake up in 10 years regretting that I didn't explore more." I stood there in the doorway, unseen, the smell of garlic and pepperoni filling the air while everything inside me went cold. Comfortable, safe, settling. I backed out slowly, pulled the door until it was almost closed, then turned and walked back to the elevator. I left the pizzas and beer on the little table in the hallway outside her unit, the one where residents sometimes left packages. I set my spare key on top of the top box, right next to the receipt. Then I went home. My phone started vibrating before I even reached my car. Texts first. "Where are you? Pizza here but no you?" Then calls. I let them go to voicemail. When I got back to my apartment, I poured myself a bourbon and sat on the couch in the dark. For years of vacations, meeting parents, shared friends, talks about kids and houses and growing old. And I was the safe placeholder. I finally texted her once. "I heard what you said to your mom. We're done. I'll arrange to pick up my things next week." Then I turned the phone face down. The fallout was immediate. She called 17 times that night, left voicemails that started confused, moved to pleading, then angry. I didn't listen to most of them. The next morning, I drove to my sister's place outside the city for the weekend, just to get distance. Lauren, my younger sister by 3 years, lived in a small house near the lake with her dog and her pottery studio in the garage. She was 32, single, ran her own online ceramics shop, and had always gotten along with Emily whenever they'd met at holidays. I showed up unannounced Saturday morning. She took one look at my face and pulled me inside. Over coffee on her back porch, I told her everything, word for word what I'd overheard. Lauren listened without interrupting, which wasn't like her. She usually had opinions on everything. When I finished, she shook her head. "That's brutal, Alex. I'm so sorry. I just feel stupid," I said. "Like I missed all the signs." "You didn't miss signs. She hid them. That's on her. She made me stay the whole weekend. We hiked the trails around the lake, threw sticks for her dog, and grilled steaks Saturday night. It helped. A little. Monday morning, I texted Lauren, "Hey, awkward request. Can you let me know when Emily's at work this week? Need to grab my stuff from her place without drama." She responded almost immediately, "She's in the office Tuesday and Thursday this week. I can meet you there if you want help carrying things." I stared at the message. Really? That would be huge. You sure? Of course. What she said was garbage. You don't deserve to do this alone. Thanks, Lore. Tuesday afternoon, I met 2 of my buddies at Emily's building. I still had the intercom code, so we got in easy enough. My things didn't amount to much: a few suits, shoes, books, my espresso machine I'd left there, some gym stuff. We were in and out in 20 minutes. As we carried the last box to the elevator, the door to the condo opened and Lauren stepped out. She'd apparently been waiting inside. "Thought you guys could use an extra set of hands," she said, grabbing a box from my friend. I raised an eyebrow. "You were already here?" "I let myself in this morning after she left. Wanted to make sure nothing got weird." My buddies gave me knowing looks but said nothing. We loaded my car, they headed off, and Lauren suggested we grab burgers at the diner nearby. I hesitated, but I was starving and still numb. Why not? We sat in a booth by the window. At first we talked about everything except Emily, her latest pottery series inspired by lake stones, my project's upcoming deadline, the dog she'd been thinking of adopting a friend for. Conversation flowed easier than I expected. Lauren had always been the more laid-back sibling growing up. She'd moved away for college, built her own life, and we'd stayed close but not inseparable. After we finished eating, she asked if I'd want to come out to the lake again that weekend. Some friends were doing a bonfire Saturday night. "I could use the company," she said, "and you could use the distraction." I agreed. That bonfire turned into more weekend visits. Then weekday dinners when she'd come into the city for supply runs. We'd cook together at my place or hers, watch old movies, go for long runs around the lake. It wasn't planned. It just happened. I kept waiting for it to feel strange. She was my ex's future sister-in-law in another life, but it never did. Lauren was different from Emily in every way that suddenly mattered. Direct where Emily could be evasive. Passionate about her art in a quiet, steady way. She didn't play games. She said what she meant. Emily, meanwhile, wouldn't let go. She showed up at my office twice. Security escorted her out the second time. Sent long emails about how she'd been scared, how her mom pressured her, how she didn't mean it the way it sounded. I didn't reply. One night in early spring, about 4 months after the breakup, Lauren and I were sitting on her dock after a long day of her teaching me how to throw pots on the wheel. I'd made one very lopsided bowl. The sun was setting over the water, and the air smelled like pine. I looked over at her, clay still under my fingernails, and realized I wasn't thinking of her as my ex's almost sister-in-law anymore. She was just Lauren, the woman who'd dropped everything to help me move out, who made me laugh when I hadn't in months, who looked at life like it was something to shape with your own hands. "You okay?" she asked, nudging my shoulder. "Yeah," I said. "Actually, would it be completely insane if I asked you to dinner? Like a real date?" She turned to face me fully, surprise in her eyes. "Probably insane," she said slowly. "Emily would lose her mind." "I know." She thought about it, staring out at the water. "But I've been thinking the same thing for weeks," she admitted. "And I don't want to not do something just because it'll upset her." She made her choices. We talked it through that night, how it would affect family gatherings, holidays, our parents. Mom and Dad loved Emily. This would blindside them. But in the end, we decided we were adults. If something real was here, we owed it to ourselves to find out. Our first date was the following Friday, a little farm-to-table place halfway between the city and the lake. Conversation never lagged. When I walked her to her car afterward, she reached up and brushed clay dust off my jacket from earlier. "This is going to be complicated," she said. "Worth it?" I asked. She smiled. "Yeah, worth it." We kept things quiet at first. Didn't post anything obvious. But Emily found out anyway, about a month later, through a mutual friend who saw us at a concert. My phone exploded. You're dating Lauren? My future sister-in-law? Are you serious? I answered that one call. Yes, I said calmly. We're seeing each other. This is disgusting. You're doing this to punish me. No, I said. I'm doing this because I like her. A lot. She's my family, Alex. How could you? You made it clear I wasn't your future. Lauren's allowed to have one. She cried, yelled, accused me of betrayal, of using Lauren to hurt her. I let her say it all, then told her I wished her well and hung up. Lauren got the same treatment. Emily called her screaming about betrayal, about ruining family holidays forever. Their mom got involved. Long, tearful conversations where Diane tried to stay neutral but clearly struggled. Thanksgiving that year was split. Lauren came to our parents' house with me. It was quiet, a little tense. Mom kept looking at her like she was trying to solve a puzzle, but polite. Christmas was harder. Lauren spent it with friends because going home felt impossible. I saw how much it hurt her, even though she tried to brush it off. We had long talks about whether we were asking too much of her. She insisted she was exactly where she wanted to be. Slowly, things thawed. Diane started texting Lauren separately, then inviting her for coffee, just the two of them. Then a few dinners that included me. One night after one of those dinners, Diane pulled me aside in the kitchen. I was angry at first, she said quietly, confused, but watching you too. You look at each other the way I looked at their father. I can't stay mad when my daughter is this happy. Emily moved to Denver 6 months later for a big promotion. Distance helped everyone breathe. A year after the pizza incident, Lauren and I leased a house together on the lake, close enough for her to keep the studio, far enough from the city that my commute wasn't brutal. We turned the garage into a shared space, half pottery, half home office. Our parents adjusted. Holidays became normal again, though Emily only came home for major ones now. The first joint Christmas was awkward. Polite smiles, separate conversations, but by the next year, people were laughing together again. Emily started dating someone seriously out west. Got engaged the following summer. Diane sent us pictures from the engagement party. She looked happy. I was glad. I never felt vindictive. Never dated Lauren to prove a point. It just turned out that the person who'd been there all along, the one who showed up when everything fell apart, was the one I was meant to build with. Sometimes life takes the long way around. Sometimes the person you're supposed to end up with isn't the one you planned on. Sometimes they're the one who helps you pack boxes when your world collapses, and stays. 2 years after that night in the hallway with the pizza boxes, Lauren and I got married on the dock at sunset. Small ceremony, just close family and friends. Diane walked her down the makeshift aisle we built from old pallets. Emily sent a card. Simple congratulations, nothing more. It was enough. I still think about that moment sometimes. Standing outside the door, hearing the truth I wasn't meant to hear. It hurt like nothing else. But it also set me free. Because if I hadn't heard it, I might have proposed. Might have built a life on uncertainty and good enough. Instead, I found someone who never made me wonder if I was settling. Someone who looked at me and saw exactly what she wanted. Sometimes the universe hands you heartbreak in a cardboard box. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it hands you everything else too.